Just when everything seems calm, here comes another report regarding Julius Randle and a New York Knicks trade. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris again from Knicks Digest. Before we move on to today's video, just want to remind you guys that 83% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. We want to keep reminding you to hit that subscription button if you want to keep up to date with all of Knicks news, trades, injuries, whatever you can think of. Knicks Digest. Chris and I are here to cover it all. All right, Chris, so now diving into today's video, just like I said in the beginning, a report regarding Julius Randle and a rumored trade. An NBA executive had this to say. My initial reaction was the Knicks overpaid because of the hypothetical value you could maybe get for quickly on paper in a separate deal. He then goes on to say, but the Knicks are in a good place to use Julius Randle and picks to make another big move. So that justifies them giving up two of their scoring options. Anunoby's health is also a factor that'll help determine how this trade ages. So, overall, we're not super surprised because you and I have been talking about how Julius Randle might be on the trading block this season. But I don't know, it just feels a little different seeing an NBA executive like put Julius Randle's name kind of on paper. How'd you feel about it?
I'm gonna be honest. I was surprised by the report when I saw it, and I do see why Julius could be on the trade block. For instance, not that long ago, Julius did leave CAA, which raised some questions on if he could possibly get traded, and I think that did raise the likelihood of a Julius Randle trade. But I'm also not gonna lie. I'm gonna cut right through it. Julius is not getting traded off the New York Knicks. Not now, not yet. The Knicks like him. Tibbs loves him. The players love him. Leon Rose loves him as far as I know.
No, you
It's
don't think?
it seems like nothing bad is coming out from the end of Julius Randle outside of that he doesn't get fan support. And I'll be honest, I would be stunned if the Knicks traded Julius Randle. Absolutely stunned.
Okay, so you'll be stunned as far as them trading him in season, right? Not if they trade him in general.
No, I'd be pretty stunned in general, I'll be honest.
Really? Not maybe like even in the off season?
Who would they trade him for?
I don't know exactly who would they trade him for, but like I think that is whoever they give up for the Donovan Mitchell trade or DeJounte Murray, depending on who they get, whatever. I think the next and also depending on how they do this season in the playoffs, I think the next logical step would be to see what they could get for Julius Randle. No, me and you, we keep saying how Julius Randle is always a ball stopper, how the ceiling of this team is always like.
I do think Julius is to a degree a ball stopper for sure. I'm not going to go back because we've seen it. We see that he does that. That's sort of how he plays. I just don't see them trading him. Honestly, like he's been here for 5 years now. I just don't see it as a likely scenario that like where Julius gets moved unless it was for I think it would be a wild trade if Julius gets traded. I have a feeling that they would trade him to get someone better. And let's be real, with the way Julius is playing, it's not like there's a ton of people who are better than Julius Randle where we stand right now. The man's having the best season of his career. He's playing like an all-star. He's playing like an all-NBA player. And also, he's the guy who first came back or first really came and brought the Knicks back to what they were. So I think there was also some incentive in showing loyalty to that guy because that will matter to players like, oh man, Julius Randle really brought the Knicks back, revived them, and then they kicked them out the door right when they were getting really good. That's like, are they going to do that to me if I go there? And everyone knows the NBA is a business and it's a cold world. Quickly found out via Twitter, like the rest of us, that he got traded up to Toronto. So obviously, cold world out there. I just don't see who the Knicks would trade Julius for. I don't think they would trade him for Donovan Mitchell. I'm convinced that they could get Donovan or DeJounte without trading Randle. And to see Randle in a Hawks jersey, I'll be honest, would make me want to throw up everywhere because I remember 2021. And
Right.
I truly just don't see a scenario right now where there's a player where the Knicks would trade Julius for or who the Knicks would trade Julius for because it would be some sort of forward or center.
I think okay, so the reason why I'm not really surprised is because one, you know how I feel about Julius Randle. Two,
Yeah.
two,
I'm part of the Randall Hive in a way that I wouldn't call you a hater. You're pretty neutral, but you do have your critique on him if you ask me on your your analysis.
No, that's fair. But another reason why I think I'm not as surprised to hear this report is because I feel like that game after Orlando, yeah, that was on Friday. Yeah, that was on Friday. The game after Orlando, there was just a lot of. I think Leon Rose was looking at that game and was like, "What are we doing? Where are we going?" And everything looked very stagnant. So of course, then he pulled the trigger on the RJ Barrett Emmanuel Quickly trade. But I think the next logical step would be to say like, okay, what else can we do? And I know that in order to get DeJounte Murray, they could use the Evan Fournier contract in order to match up the contracts. But I feel the next logical solution would be like, okay, what's the next piece that we might be able to put in the trading block? Now, I don't know if Leon Rose and Julius Randle are buddy buddy, and then, Julius Randle would feel like he'd be stabbed in the back. But if Leon Rose was a logical GM, I think putting Julius Randle on the trading block, I think he should at least do that to see what the offers would be. Now, should he tell Julius Randle? I think he should. That's what humans are just about, just showing emotion. Don't be one of these GMs that like literally just go behind the player's back and like Emmanuel Quickly. He found out there on Twitter that always sucks. But
Yeah.
I just feel like you should put Julius Randle all in trading block. That way you get to see what is in store for him. I mean, for you and your organization. And then that way, maybe in the offseason, depending on how they do this playoffs, maybe you could see and gauge the room and the temperature to see what you can get.
I mean, I understand. Like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I think Julius should be untouchable. And I don't think he is untouchable. I think that would be the wrong way to critique it. I just think that they would do a lot to keep the guy around. Because when you look at it objectively, is he a top 3, 4 forward in the Eastern Conference? Probably not. I'd put him in the top 5. Like, look, okay. Giannis and Embiid are certainly better than him. They're 2 of the 3 best players in the NBA with Jokic. It's hard to argue. No matter how you want to list those 3, it's pretty hard to argue that those are not the 3 best players in the NBA.
I'm with you there.
2 of them are in the Eastern Conference. They're both bigger guys where it's like, then you got Jason Tatum, who's obviously, again, better than Julius Randle. There's really no argument otherwise.
Correct.
Outside of that, and if I'm missing someone, feel free to jump at it. Is there really anyone who you can say for certain is a forward who is far and away clearly better than Julius Randle?
Yeah, you have a point. You definitely have a point. And I hate to be annoying and I hate to play devil's advocate, but then when you compare Julius Randle with those other players, the disparity is huge.
But he's not the best player on the team.
Randle, you mean?
Yeah. Whereas, like, Giannis and Embiid, they're the best player on the team.
Tatum,
the Knicks have a top 5 forward who's not the best player on their team. When you pair that with Mitchell Robinson, who's got elite defense, and when you pair it with Jalen Brunson, who's at the very worst, a top 3 guard in the Eastern Conference, especially if you're talking point guards, I think it's fine. Brunson and Randle, for some reason, it feels like everything points to they should not work together well on the court, but they do. I think it's just tough to believe unless you're going for some real star forward who is not available right now, who may become available, and I could not tell you who that is.
Yo, I don't know, man. I have a feeling that Leon Rose is targeting someone that we're not even thinking about, honestly.
That I was just talking about that with my brother. And you can't predict Leon Rose. We kept saying this OG Anunoby trade would never happen, so it's pointless to talk about. Now every single video we've done in the past 48 hours has had some relation to OG Anunoby.
Oh man, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. I'm praying to God we don't do like a Zach LaVine trade. I don't know what the hell.
No way we would trade Randle for Zach LaVine. Randle's just straight up a better player.
100%, but you just never know, man. You never know with these GMs, yo.
No, you don't. And I mean, also just not to consistently go towards Zach LaVine because I know that's more not like the exact player you're talking about, but Zach he is part of Clutch Sports and he's from LA. I think if Zach LaVine gets traded, it's gonna be to some shocker or to the Lakers.
Right.
But I really do think like there's a good chance that you're right that Leon has a very specific name in mind that is not like the same guy who we talk about, Donovan Mitchell. But I don't know. Leon obviously moves in complete silence. It's impossible to tell what he's doing, but I will say if he is targeting someone who we don't know, then yes, I could see Julius getting traded.
Yo, Leon Rose's new nickname is Lasagna because He moves in
The real
silence.
G's move in silence like Lazar.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into this video. Leave it in the comments. Let us know what you think about Julius Randle. Do you think he will be moved during the season or maybe even in the offseason? But until next time, that's it for Chris and I. We'll check you out in the next video.
Subscribe to our channel.
Peace.